Hello, Emmanuel, and happy Thursday. For those of you who weren't able to join on Tuesday, my name's Tim Sales, and I've been around in our community for about 10 years. On Tuesday, we got stuck into the book of 1 Timothy in chapter 6, continuing this journey of learning what the heart of the issue is, particularly with the subject of money. Today I'm going to read from verse 17. Teach those who are rich in this world not to be proud and not to trust in their money, which is so unreliable. Their trust should be in God, who richly gives us all we need for our enjoyment. Tell them to use their money to do good. They should be rich in good works and generous to those in need, always being ready to share with others. By doing this, they will be storing up their treasure as a good foundation for the future, so that they may experience true life. So this is being written to people who are rich, but who does that mean? You might be sitting there thinking, I'm not rich, I hardly have anything. Well, by virtue of us living here in the UK, our starting point is that we're in the top 5% most wealthy people in this world. If you earn more than £30,000, you earn more than the average income in this nation, more than 37, more than the average income in London. And if you earn more than £70,000, then you're in the top 1% of earners in the world and the top 5% in this country. So whilst I don't know all of your situation, the high likelihood is that all of us in world terms are rich, even if we might feel like we're struggling right now, particularly in these COVID times. And so this passage is still written, in fact, to all of us. And the starting point, I guess we see in the second part, which is, look, our trust is in God. God is the provider of all of this, as we focused on Tuesday. Money can be a really good thing that he gives us, and our obligation is to steward that well. To those who've been given much, there's a greater responsibility of stewardship on that. I came across a story recently of a guy that when he was 16, he was in a particular talk and heard a really compelling vision of someone and an organisation doing some great stuff in the world, trying to end slavery in our lifetime. And he decided quite quickly that what that organisation didn't need was more people, so him, to be able to train to do what they do. But what they probably actually needed was people just to give them money to be able to do what they do really, really well. So his prayer from that point onwards was, God, would you give me more to steward so that I can sow it into others? Not so that I could live a flashy lifestyle and have loads of stuff, but so that I could really sow into other things. And that really has struck a chord with me, and I think sits really well with this passage. So my encouragement to us today is to be thinking, whether you have very much in these circumstances or very little, how can you be stewarding that well, and what can we give away? I think in a Christian context, we're used to this idea of generosity and giving away. But if you're anything like me, sometimes you just think, what does that look like? Give me some parameters, give me some assistance, give me some guidance. And what I have found quite helpful is hearing other people's journeys and their stories. Not that they are ever a complete picture of what you should do, but can spark ideas. So I'm just going to share a few thoughts from my journey. Not that you should replicate this, but just hopefully it would spark some ideas. So first of all, what can we be giving to? My starting point is always on giving to the church. It's the way that Jesus has decided to work out his mission in this world. I don't know why, but he has. And so the first of in fact, my fruits, the money that I earn goes to our church. And then to needs that I see in and around the church community. Then I give to organisations that are focused on spreading the message of the gospel so that people's lives can be transformed. Then try to align some of my giving with the real bent of Jesus, with a focus on the poor, the oppressed and the vulnerable, either direct needs I see or organisations that are working in that space. And then finally, just trying to be responsive to the promptings of the Holy Spirit with both individual needs and organisational needs that kind of sit with where I think the heart of God is as it aligns with me and Catherine. So that's sort of where our giving tends to go. And then as regards how much, the Bible I don't think is hard and fast on it, but I always found it as a helpful guide growing up that 10% of gross income was a helpful benchmark. And so that was just a feature of my life growing up and kind of got built into everything when I started earning money and was a platform from which to grow. And so what we try to do is to increase our giving every year, both in absolute terms and percentage of income terms. Not always possible, but that's our direction. And the final thing for us is, in order to I guess align with this passage, but also the idea of being really good stewards, is to set up our living such that not only do we live within our means, but we in fact live below our means. And my particular work, what that means is we are exploring a journey of trying to set our income at the level of a role that's more junior to mine, so that it can free up a lot more for us to be able to give away. None of that is hard and fast rules. There are all a few ideas that I've been working with. I would encourage you to be chatting with your friends, with your family, to spark ideas off each other as we explore this idea together of responding to the, in fact, command here as people in worldly terms who are wealthy to be seeing how we can be giving. So I pray that will be a real blessing for you this week, and look forward to exploring the journey together further.